Hey gang, welcome back. It's Dr. Boss Key, and I thought I'd share with you how I built this feature in Shmup Creator called Bullet Sealing. Yeah, look at that. So you can see it works with enemies that are on the move as well. It keeps enemies from, when they're shooting, it stops them from shooting. Also, as you can tell here, so it turns off when you go towards the enemy and the enemy's dead already. So that's important as well. And then the last thing is, let's see. Oh, also we added a little bit of rewards for the for bullet sealing. So, all right, okay. So, how do we build this beast of a thing? So, a couple caveats right off the riff. So this will not work in terms of enemies that have waves. So you have to do them for individual enemy spawns. The other thing is that the collision is based on an enemy object. So, you could expand this to have more dynamic collision by using different types of enemies, but I did the simple version in terms of just kind of creating a square and fudging it around the side. And then the other thing is that because of the way this is set up, should you need to change the scaling of an enemy in the environment, everything will mostly scale down with you. So you can see scale 70. Scale 50. So I've been playing with that a little bit as well for scale to convey a little bit more of enemies that are further away from the camera. Okie dokie. Okay, so let me save this real quick. All right, as in, here we go. So first off, okay, let's see here. Let's move this. Okay, yeah, so we'll do that. Got to explode it a little bit so you can see what's what. And then I'll walk you through it. It's not super complex, but it's complex enough to be a pain in the ass. So, and I had to work around a couple things in the engine. So then right off the rip here, so we have basically just our bullet sealing note. And then it starts out over here. So we have a trigger, and the trigger is set to switch mode. And here the enemy's HP is less than 99. And then this comes into, let me see, where's this guy here? That guy out, this guy out, this guy out. Okay, cool. All right. So, yeah, so connected to the bullet seat. So, all right. Let me back up here. Then what we have is we have the enemy. So this is basically kind of a fake enemy. And what we've done with this enemy is we've turned it into a little helper area effect kind of trigger. And so we made sure that it's invisible because we don't want it to be visible to the player. The collision is normal, nothing to do with waves. I added 100 HP. You could do any number you want it to. It really doesn't matter. So, but you can see that I did set the script to as soon as it takes any points of damage. No score, no hit score. And then the other thing that's important is that you want collision with the player, but you want the damage to the player to be 0 because you don't want to take damage from getting close. And then everything else is as you would expect. No animations, no waypoint stuff. No weapon stuff, no extra particles. Your mileage may vary depending on how you want to set up. Okay, so then it starts all here. We basically add a little helper hint for us, which is, hey, as soon as the enemy is taking damage, enemy's HP is less than 100, then we're going to go into another trigger here. This trigger is also set to switch mode, and we say, hey, is the enemy alive? And that's this enemy, because basically if it is alive, then we want to move forward. And so we do the check here. And then we have a little bool check helper right here, which again is just a fake enemy to track the state. So we say that, hey, is the enemy alive? If it is, cool, then come in and spawn this bool enemy. So, and this bool enemy is start sealing, and that's going to start the sealing logic. So a couple things happen from here is that we have a check at the top, which is a trigger condition. It's set to switch mode, and if this enemy is alive, and we know that it's alive because we did a check here to see if the bullet sealing enemy is alive, and it is, and then we spawn this enemy to be awake, and then also with this bool check enemy. It's also set to invisible. It doesn't need any collision. I attach it to the camera so it travels along with the enemy, which is important, right? So you can attach it and it travels along with the enemy. So then this will be relevant to where the enemy is at on screen. And then nothing to do with spawn points. Gameplay, 1 HP. We turned off score, hit, score, all the other goodies. You could turn those things on if you want extra bonus stuff, but there's ways to do that. And then I think that is pretty much it. So and once this enemy is awake, we say, cool, is this enemy alive or awake? And then we do a couple things. So one is we come down to a timer. So this timer is set to 1 second. And then after 1 second has elapsed, we're killing the logic that says, cool, this is your bullet ceiling logic. It is now over. And that does a couple things. So one is that over here, we have where once we've said that the condition is awake for the bull enemy, we are taking the main enemy, which is this guy here, and we're setting its weapon set to none. One thing I'd recommend, just as a little quick one for you out there, is that I think that actually works. So okay, cool. Never mind. So you want to make sure you set it to weapon set is none. And then we start a timer, which is connected to a stopwatch timer, and the stopwatch timer is connected to essentially audio swipes. So, and these audio swipes are switch mode, play till the end. So we turn them on for as long as this timer is or as long as the stopwatch is stopwatching, I guess, counting. And then we wound up adding 3 samples here with a little bit of pitch variation just to get a little difference for the eye. And then because they have pitch variation, it also gives you kind of additional swipes. It's not perfect, but it works for what we got right now. You could easily do it differently. And then we also, what else do we do here? We have the effects. So we have 2 effects here that we're actually using. So one is we turn on glow and we turn on the particle system, DBK, bullet ceiling, melee attack. So this spawns essentially the particles for the swipey, which is cool. And then also this turns on sparks. So the nice thing is while this timer is alive, we're emitting all this good stuff, all the candy effects, sounds, and particles. And then once the timer completes, we turn all these things off, which is what you want when the enemy explodes. And then we have down here, we basically have one more timer that also, one more trigger. This trigger is when the enemy state is dead. So this is our primary logic for the ceiling behavior. Oh, I saved it. Dang it. It's just Pavlovian. All right. So, and then what we do from there is we say, cool, let's do a couple things. So one is when this is no longer alive, we basically have a kill condition. This kill condition basically kills the bullet ceiling enemy. It kills the main enemy. And then it also kills a ceiling reward enemy. So basically we took an enemy here and because we wanted to be able to adjust the ceiling reward. There's a couple other things that I worked around. I won't bother going into that. This is the way we set it up to get it to work. But anyways, I won't go into that. So, and then we basically have an enemy that's a little reward thing here. So, and then let me see, I can probably show this in action here and then I'll go back through the script in a second. Let's just take the camera, turn this off, give you a sense for what this looks like. Just go ahead and, so you can see here. Oh, sorry. Here we go. And as you would expect. So, let's see. I think that is it. A couple other caveats, right? So there might be a way to set this up multiple times. You'd have to do a lot more of a tricky setup. So for instance, if you wanted to go towards an enemy, bullet seal them, and then back off and let them shoot again, and then go back in and bullet seal them, you could do that. I decided the juice wasn't worth the squeeze in terms of setup. This is already complex enough. But I thought I would point that out. And other than that, I think here, how about for the video side of these, I'll just walk through the setup. Oh, sorry, probably the last thing here too, right, is as you can see, so basically the bullet sealer is attached to the enemy. You can the FX emitters are attached to the bullet sealing kind of area effect trigger condition. And so we have the sealing rewards, the 2 effects, the sparks for the sword swipes, and then the astral projection itself. And then the other thing that we had is just to keep things clean, I also attached the bull check enemy that I have to the bullet sealing enemy. And so you can take all of this, and then you can essentially attach this along with all the additional logic to the enemy, and then you can do things like adjust your effects and your reward spots to be all in the right space there. So, all right, from the top, I'll just go ahead and click through. You can pause the video at any one of these panels if you're doing your own implementation. All right. Okay. So you can see which ones these are connected to. Okay, I think that is everything. All right, I hope that is super helpful for you folks out there. Yeah, I think if I had my druthers, like I said, I think I would be, if we had some other things in the engine that we currently don't, there'd be some other ways we could implement this to get it to work. But for the most part, it does what I need it to do for the game. So I'm going to play with it and see whether or not it is a feature we're going to keep in. But sometimes you just got to build it and play with it and see how it works. I think it's pretty cool. I think at least my initial design was saying that I would like to be able to go in and out to trigger the bullet conditions. And I think if I were to build that, I think I would probably have to build additional enemies around the main ceiling area, and so you'd have to have a check where you check to see if the enemy's still alive. If it's still alive, then you would probably wake up the new bullet sealing area. As bullet sealing area. I think that'd probably be the way to do it. But anyways, that is some other bits. Hopefully this inspires you. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.